Hey y'all, what's up? So I'm gonna try to start redoing these. You can tell my mama bought this for me, because I would never, even though that's what I know I am, okay? This gives auntie, and I might be that age, but I don't feel like that, so don't do me with the macronels, okay? If I'm gonna go full out auntie, I'm gonna be doing the trips, but when I'm home, I'm gonna be doing the bingos and the karaoke's and all the things. But anyway, so I'm watching Evolution. I gotta finish watching the last match, so I'm about to get out to y'all in that. But before I even watched it, it went off, because I started watching about 10. I didn't go to bed till 4:15 this morning. The fact that I saw some of the comments and stuff like that, and people was like, they need to make this every year, and people were upset that Cole and Wade was doing it, okay, the commentating. And someone was like, if we're gonna have an all-women's event, even though Cole is the OG, have women announcers. And I said, have women announcers, have women timekeepers, have women managers, have women producers, have women. If we're gonna do this thing all women, do it all women, or get somebody that books women real well, like how Shawn Michaels does the NXT division, or how Gail Kim did the Knockouts division when Jordan and Trinity, aka Naomi, or y'all know her as Naomi, or Deanna was there, Deanna, and all of them was there, like that, okay? Because this needs to happen. There's someone say, there's no way we don't, the amount of time we have, this should not be a yearly event. I 1,000% concur. If not every 2 years, but as many, we have what, 3-4 Saturday night main events that happen. That's happened in the past, what, year per year, or 2 years, and it's been about 3. I don't know what the contract is with us going to Saudi, because we did the Crown Jewel, and then we always go again in November. I don't know if it's a 2-year thing, or we just need to make a yearly appearance. But to be honest with you, we can do an Evolution event, take over one of those. We can, if we have something in October, because you know last year we did Bad Blood. The year before that we did Fastlane. So I'm trying to, because I had to read about my life. Like, did we do? Yeah, I think the year before that we did Fastlane. So like, we can do it then, an October situation, or we can do it. Just take over Saturday night main event, because somebody has said. Now I don't watch most of it. Like I said, I'm on the Rhea and EO part, but this is the part. This is what I'm saying, because someone was like, I was so excited about the women. I didn't even what he said. I didn't even watch Saturday night main event. And I said, listen. I said, I've been watching old things because I took a hiatus, right? So I'm like, now I'm on June stuff for Raw and SmackDown, because I just watched the last Saturday main event with Jay and Logan and stuff like that. Watch the current one because I wanted to keep up, you know, what was going on, but I still go back and watch the old one. This made, okay, I said, you didn't miss nothing. I said, I watched Saturday night main event, and I said, I don't know. I said, I'm gonna tell you like this straight up. I said, the first match, I said, I'm glad Drew got off of Priest. I said, because before he was on Priest real heavy, he was on Punk. Before that, it was Jay. Before that, it was Roman. I said, so right now, I'm assuming, who did he fight? Who did he fight? It was Logan. It was Drew with Logan. Oh, Randy. So I'm assuming it's gonna be Randy for a little bit. Okay. I don't mind that. I said, but the match is and I told him, and then I said, best parts of the matches to me. And I said, I thought, because I know they still got women in the back that they're not utilizing. I thought, oh, hold on. Did they use all the women? Did they use all the women? I'm trying to revive my life. Okay. I think they might have used all the women. Or maybe it might have been 1 or 2 they might not have used, or that's injured or something like that. But I was like, the best part of it to me was when Jacob came out to help Jimmy. I said, and when Jade and Naomi and Bianca came out. I said, the Seth thing with LA Knight was surprising. And the only reason why that was surprising, I said, because we can all tell based off of LA's face, Seth's face, and the crowd's face. I said, and I don't even know, but just based off of what he's trying to do as far as his little faction situation, LA was not supposed to win that match. Okay? I said, then he was like, oh, so that sounds dry. I said, I'm telling you, you're not missing nothing. I said, because we have plenty of men tag teams. Why didn't want no tag? I said, I expect Friday night event. First of all, me personally, I expect every PLE to have at least one woman thing. And if it's a card of 5, I need at least 2 women things. Okay? I don't care if it is Evolution the next day. Okay? Like they said, Soul did 3 matches in 48 hours. I think Jordynne did 3 in 22 hours. We could have had a woman on the card for Saturday. Okay? 2, right? Even if it was something like, some of the women are out. Because I ain't see Zoe. I know Liv, they said something about a shoulder injury. Zoe must be injured. Or they don't know what to do with her. And then, trying to think of all the women on the roster. Because then they had added some. No, because what's her name is gone. She got let go. The other girl, Wendy Chu, I think is in Evolve. Nikita, I think is in Evolve. Well, like, it's certain, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we could have had a match with one of them in it. I don't even care. We could have had a match with 2 Evolve women in it. Just to give the crowd something to, showcase. Okay? Like a showcase thing on Saturday Night Live. But I was like, I expect my PLEs to have 2 women events, because 9 times out of 10 it's a card of 5. And one of them events need to be men or women, triple threat, or tag team match. I don't care if it's 1-on-1 tag team. I don't care if it's a 2-on-2. I don't care if it's fatal 4-way. I don't care, and I don't care. Okay? And the triple threat match could be with or without a title. I expect that to be every PLE. Now, the other 3 matches, you do what the hell you want to do with them. But, like, y'all know I'm here for the girls and for the tag teams. And as good as the tag team's been in SmackDown, and they're getting good now, and they're getting back good now in Raw, it's no way they shouldn't have been showcased. Okay? Second of all, that's what I said. So then someone had mentioned, this is me watching and before I watching. They was like, y'all see how, and I had mentioned this in my video, Saturday Night Main Event, and I said the tickets, I got turned off because the sales y'all were so worried about and all this other stuff. And I said, I get it, but at the same time, like, this is a multi-billion-dollar company. Okay? Like, and I know y'all want to pay y'all people right because of inflation. And I know in order to keep the profit margin the same, you have to raise the prices when inflation comes to keep the profit margin the same. So, like, if my profit margin is $100 and I normally spend $50 and make $150, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm good. Now, if stuff go up in inflation and I'm not spending $50 now, I'm spending $75, so I need to make $175 to keep the $100 profit margin the same, then yes, stuff is going to go up. But other than that, like, I feel like at a certain point in time, it's greed. So someone has said, agreed with me, because they was like, well, they had tweeted what I thought and what I said in the video. And they had said, y'all see how they said the Evolution prices was the lowest that PLE's prices have been in a while. They said, you see how many people are in the seats and stuff like that. So first of all, I said, this just goes to show you that people believe in the women doing their thing. Like, for the past 3 years I've been watching, and I'm not going to get emotional. The women have come, first of all, from when I used to watch it to now, the women have come a long way. And not saying in a sense of skill set. Some and some have, but I'm just saying it's been displayed. The reason why I'm here for NXT most of the time is because of the women. Now, it's somewhat certain people that I love, that's men, that's down there, like Wesley, and I like Javon Evans, and I like he not on there no more. Dang, I forgot his name. I don't even think he's on there no more. Yeah, he's not on there no more. But it's like certain people, certain men, I'm like, all right. But y'all know my girls. I'm here for the women, but it's a certain set of women that I love. And, that's Bianca, Liv, Roxanne, Jordynne, Ruca. Okay? The other women are phenomenal, but them 5 to me can do no wrong. Okay? So, he was like, I said, if the tickets are reasonable, I'm going back to my main statement. If the tickets are reasonable, then I'm happy as a consumer. I'm happy that I'm going to go to a show that's a fairly reasonable price, that I still got money in my pocket. And then if I got extra money in my pocket, I can go get some merch and some food if I want to. Like, if the tickets cost me an arm and a leg to get, I'm just going to go and see the show. I'm going to eat before I come because I'm not trying to spend no money, and I'm not getting no merch. So if it's something old, that's what I'm wearing. And that's exactly what's been happening. And that's why some of the PLEs have been empty. And then, what was it? Saturday main event, they had angled it somewhere, and that whole one section was empty. And I was like, see what I'm saying? I was like, and Saturday night main event shouldn't even be that much. I don't even know how much it is, but it shouldn't be that much. I told someone, I told my sister's boyfriend about Survivor Series, because my favorite PLEs are Money to Bank, Survivor Series, and Elimination Chamber. Those are my 3 favorite. And I was like, front row seat is $6,200. A nosebleed seat is $120. I was like, you know how much it cost Elimination Chamber the past 2 years before that? I was like, at most, if someone resells it, it would be $5,000. I said, but for Ticketmaster to sell it, it was $2,000-$3,000. Half the price, half to a third of the price. I was like, and people that's fans are going to pay it, or they're going to wait last minute and do a setup pay or whatever. I said, but people will be like, shoot, I got to pay to travel to get there, pay for food, the hotel, and the tickets, and it cost me all this. I'm staying home. Because when they had showed the prices for WrestleMania this past April, I was like, now I expected the flights to be expensive because I stay cross country. Okay, I'm on the East Coast. But I'm like, the cheapest thing was the hotel. I said the tickets cost more than my flight, which is crazy. Okay, I was like, and I was going to take my niece, and because she's never been to Vegas or a WWE show, and my son, and I said for the 3 of us to go. And the 1-day tickets cost just as much as the 2-day tickets. So you might as well get a 2-day and sell one of them. The 2-day tickets and the 3 of us to fly round trip alone was $20,000. $20,000. And we weren't even up front. We was on the side, the middle part before you get to the nosebleeds. Okay? I was like, first I said, so people are here for the girls, and when you could spend less money and enjoy a good show, people want to come. They know that girls are going to serve them. They know all the things, okay? I said, and then, I said, even as far as the commentator situation goes, even if you can't find women, and I think it's a woman commentator, if I'm not mistaken, in TNA, our partnership with her, pay her and bring her over here. Bring her over here. Or, what's the girl that used to do, the bump on Wednesdays? Do she know how to color commentate? What's her name? Megan? Is she still for WWE? Put her in on the what you call it? She could be like Pat McAfee or something. Put her or Kelly down there, because I don't think Kelly was there tonight. I don't think she might have been. I don't think so though. But put one of them down there and then get an official that calls sports well. Have them be like, hey, I'm gonna pay you this much. We're gonna fly you out. This is happening this day. You need to study all this. This is what this movie is. And even if they got to watch film and call them, they can do that. Okay? Call them in to do that. Okay? So, or, I'm about to guess, where is this money coming from, Lord? Get people that's been here for the girls and advocating for the women to commentate. Like Cole had mentioned, Mark Henry said he's always been advocating for women. Him, Big E, CM Punk. And I was like, that's why people love CM Punk. I said, because he'll keep it real all the way around. Because he was at WrestleMania, what was it, 40? And he was like, there's no way why the women shouldn't be something. And I was like, and he'll go down to NXT and strictly talk to the women. Jade loves him. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the women, like, you gotta have a good character, and you gotta be that stand 10 toes down on what you say and all that stuff. Because women, you know, we're more cautious when it comes to men. We don't care if we work with you or not. You know what I'm saying? You really have to make us feel comfortable, or feel at ease, or feel like we can express ourselves or whatever, for us to be, you know what I'm saying? And for Punk to not have nothing bad about him said about him with women. Like, none of them had said nothing that was a stupid remark like Goldberg did with Asuka. Nobody has said nothing like, and he's always supported and things like that. We were like, have people that truly to their bones support him. Or get somebody like Snoop Dogg. Because Snoop Dogg would advocate for women's sports. Because I remember the year that the women, I think when we recently won or got close to winning the World Cup in the Olympics or something like that a few years ago, and he found out the pay disparity between the men and the women, and the men was getting $400,000 and the women was getting $50,000, and he was like, man, pay these girls. He was like, first of all, they need to get paid because they're athletes too. They're better than the men. And I said, and that's facts. That's 1,000% facts. And I said, and they don't even, I said, sadly, I said, for me personally, I said, that's across the board. Any soccer with women. Like, my home team, I'm from the DC area. Washington Spirit is so much better than DC United. DC United sucks so bad. Like, they suck. Like, and he was like, pay these girls. Like, get somebody that's here for the girls that's gonna commentate. Like, Cole, up until he got let his hair down because Pat was there, he'll do whatever and say whatever that they tell him to do because he don't want to lose his job, rightfully so. But sometimes you need to be like, no, I'm standing 10 toes down. Because let me tell you something, if they ever fire Cole or something like that, I'm tell you, he'll have a job then at the same day. Sometimes you got to use your tenure and your clout. You know what I'm saying? And I say he not here for the girls because that whole situation with Naomi and Sasha, I'll never forget that because that was my first Friday watching. And he was like, we're so disappointed in them. No. And this is WWE. And I know he probably had to release the statement, but I wouldn't say nothing. And you could tell it was a statement they made him say because Corey looked at him and was like, wow, you really saying this? So just based off of that alone, he might like the girls there and joke with them, but he not really here for the girls. Okay. So the first match was Becky versus Bayley versus Lyra. Before I took my hiatus, I know that Lyra and Becky was beefing. Becky had said something that she won the match. I think it's her in that main event, even though she lost. And then her and Bayley was on the Twitter beefing. And people kept saying that Bayley was torturing Becky when she was in Damage Control. But Bayley had to remind him in NXT that Becky the one who turned on her first. So that's all I remember. So when they came out and I saw Becky with the United States Championship, I was surprised because y'all know I'm up behind. But I will say when Bayley came out in her regular clothes, they showed her coming out, she looked phenomenal. Okay, Lyra looks great. People say they're surprised how strong she is. I'm not surprised by that. Like, I know to the core of me, she is going to be one of the future greats. She's already awesome. That's not it for me. To me, it was her mic skills. Like I mentioned before, all of them are signed because we know they can do it athletically. And if they're not there yet, the people that hired them know that they can get there. You know what I'm saying? It's this. When you do segments in the back, when you do promos in the front, how we doing that? Okay? Because that's what's going to make me believe what you saying is what you saying. Can you deliver it and make me believe that? You know? And for a while, I didn't get that with Lyra. And I knew she was good because I watched her in NXT a little bit. I was like, I didn't get that. And I saw little surfaces of it when she fought Zaria at NXT, but I was like, I didn't get that. It wasn't until the Saturday main event they had the backflip. I said, okay, now I know why you called up to the main roster. Because I was trying to figure it out. Because I was like, why is she called up before Roxanne? I know Roxanne my girl. But I was like, okay, now I understand. I completely get that. She came out, you know, with the wings and stuff. Bayley came out being Bayley. And this is what I've been saying. Pam, okay? Who the hell is the person that makes your jackets? I want you to release that info, please, right now. Because every time you come out, the covering for your gear be on point. You get me? That jacket thing she had on yesterday was everything. Even if she got the little jump with the arm and she take it off to sleep, like who? I'm still trying to figure out where that white and gray half and half jacket. Who did that one? Mine don't need to say role model on the back, and I'm not gonna wear it all the time. But like when I want to pop out and wear something like a cute jacket, I want that jacket. And if I got to find her at a meet and greet, I swear to God, I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna pull up the picture and I'm be like, who made this for you? Who made this for you? And how? And I'll be like, how much did it cost? And I'm dead serious because I'm like, when it comes to gear, it's few people I follow. Okay, follow Miss Sandra who sometimes, and Christina who sometimes sews like Jimmy, Naomi, Shade's, Street Profits, Cody's gear for WWE. I know they do something for AEW, but that's not my business. Okay, I follow. Is it Starling? I think it's Starling, and I think her name is Pam or Paula or something like that. That also does Naomi's gear. And Paz, who designed and does Naomi gear, and Bianca has taken concepts from, and he's done some other people's stuff and concepts for that. I follow the person that's done Jimmy's gear as of lately. My brain just froze. I think he does, if I'm not mistaken, I think he does Solo's gear, LA Knight's gear, stuff like that. And I know Saraf does certain people's gear, but I know for a fact he does Jimmy and Logan's. I know Wicked Clothing does like Rhea's, Alexa's, Roxanne's, and Natty's, and it was Shotzi's. And the lady that does, or the man that does the wrestling boots, I follow him. And I think it's a man that does Charlotte's robes. I follow all of them. Okay. So like, I just need to know who did the gear, okay? So and I follow Troy, who dresses Becky, Seth, not in the gear, but like dresses them when they wear regular clothes. Becky, Seth, Charlotte, Nikki Bella, somebody else. My brain is not. Oh, and Bobby Lashley. Okay. So outside of production, I be here for the girls, tag teams, the gear and the hair, okay? That's the main reason why I watch aesthetically. But for me to be in it, it's the storylines. Okay? So, like, she came out looking phenomenal. Lyra came out looking great. And then she had to touch up on the purple in her roots. Okay? Because there wasn't no brown showing. And then, because the roots was even purple. Then Becky come out. Becky with her hair up. She looked great. Okay? I don't know if she lost more weight, or maybe you could just see the bone structure in her face more with the ponytail, because you can't see that because her hair is always down. Then she had the Mary J. Blige black not gonna cry fur coat with the hoodie, with the blanket, with the jacket. With the sunglasses. Okay, because I said her gear is cute. Her look is cute. Then I said her hair is everything. And I said, Troy, did you design this? And he must have, because he retweeted me. He retweeted me because I had asked him about the what was it? Something that set for a month ago. It was a teal blazer with roses, and I said, do they have this in women's? And he was like, what look? I said, this look. Like, where'd you get this piece from? Okay, but they look phenomenal. I love them first of all, I was a little iffy about this match starting this being the first match, only because I don't know the history that has been going on for the past month and a half. Other people have, okay? And I'm not saying these three ain't gonna serve. You know, we got 2 of the 4 horsewomen. We got a great up-and-comer, you know what I'm saying? And all the things. And that match was incredible. When I tell you everybody done did their finisher to everybody, I didn't know who was gonna win. My heart thought it was gonna be Lyra or Bayley. Because I was like, I didn't know who's going to win. But then I was like, I low-key wanted Bayley or Lyra to win. But then I was like, I'm not surprised Becky won. Because all of them are great. So, I'm like, because when, who was it? Lyra hit, I got to call Bayley because my brain said Pam. Lyra hit Bayley with the Nightwing. And then Becky, I think Becky broke it up. And then I think Bayley hit Becky with the belly to belly, and Lyra had broke it up. And then I think Becky had tried to hit somebody with the manhandle slam or something, but Becky pinned Bayley. Was it Bayley she pinned? Becky got the pin. She pinned them with her head back like this, like their head on their shoulders. I said, what the hell? I couldn't see it. And then when they turned it, I said, oh, okay. So then after that, we got Jordynne versus Jacy Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship. The first one was for the Women's U.S. Intercontinental Championship. This one was Jacy Jayne versus with Fatal Influence, because I want to call them Fatal Attraction too. And Jordynne with what the hell that girl name? Because she didn't change her name. She's not Maria May anymore. She's something Monroe. Blake Monroe, I think. But during the segment before that, she asked Blake to come out with her. And no, hold on. So before that happened, something had transpired between the three of them in that thing. And the way they showed Bayley, I said, Monday, that's going to continue. Okay. 2, she was, Jordynne was like, asked her to come out. And she was like, I don't want to steal your spotlight or your shine or something like that. And she said, you're not going to steal my shine or my spotlight. And she was like, I just want you to come out. And the way her body language changed, and then her tone slightly changed. When she, Blake was like, okay, I'll join you. I said, I don't trust her. I was like, she's going to turn. She's going to turn. So them two got into it. Of course, the ref was doing it. I think Daphne did the first 2 matches because I think she did the triple threat. No. What's the new girl? What's the girl that's in NXT now? What's her name? The ref, Lexi or something like that? She did the NXT match. And then Daphne came out and did the next match. Because I was like, where is Jessica at? But, yeah, so they had to fight, Fatal Influence came out. And Wade, what was it, Wade or Cole said, Fatal Attraction. And it was like, that's not Fatal Attraction. And then I said, wasn't the faction on TNA called Fatal Attraction? Then I was like, no. And I said, well, it's the same thing. I said, she was a part of Toxic Attraction faction. Now she's a part of Fatal Influence faction. You might as well mush the 2 together and call her Fatal Attraction. And then I was like, the sad part is when she came out, I said, Jordynne got a huge pop. Jordynne's one of my girls. She's been my girl since TNA. Okay? Like I said, one of my girls. So I think I seen all my girls last night except for Liv. And that's because I found out she had a shoulder injury. But so she didn't get any pop. And then I say, I wonder if they keep her in factions because they don't know what to do with her solo, or if they feel like she could develop better solo, because she gets no pop at all. And I said, I feel like going solo would help her. It would help her because you don't have other people to rely on. And if they put you solo and say the other 2, like turn on her. And she's still the champion. And they put her solo. And now we got to see what you bring to the table, promo wise and ring wise, by yourself. Because if you've been in a faction and stuff like that for this long, and you've been in NXT, how long? 2018, 2019? I don't know what year she came in. If it's 2020, it's been 5 years. Okay, you've been down there that long, and mind you, COVID, yeah, and all the things. And sometimes I feel like certain people don't get caught up, not because they're not ready, but because they was like, what are we going to do with them? We, like, the writers have to figure out how to enter them into the storyline. And that's what I feel like it should be like for everybody. Because there's no point in you calling certain people up and then having them get released like you did Dijak. Or like they did Elektra Lopez. Or something like that. She went from wrestling to not wrestling at all. Or stuff like that. Like, there's no point in you calling them up if you want to release them because you don't know what to do with them. Like, and so I feel like it has to be a time where they have to make her go solo. And I don't want nobody to lose their job, but if you don't step up to the plate and you've been here all these years, then we got to figure out something else to do with you. We either going to have to let you go, or you're going to have to be a valet, or you're going to have to be a manager, or a ring announcer, or something. And the only reason why I say that is because it's always a test in everything we do. And the test needs to, happen. And some people, like, hate that they get released, and then they be, like, so thankful that they did, because they be like, I wouldn't have been able to grow if I wouldn't have, left, or certain stuff like that. And, like, sometimes you need those kick in the pants, because we all get too comfortable at one point in time. Even if the people that be like, I'm uncomfortable with comfortability, you have to realize, you have to be sitting in it for a little bit. And a little bit to you could be like 2 days. But you have to be sitting in it for a little bit for you to realize, okay, I'm getting comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all that happened, the girls, and then she tried to pin them even after the one girl's distracted the ref, and it didn't work. And I was like, this is a juggernaut. She better win. Okay? That's my girl. And that's how I know I haven't been watching NXT and stuff for a while. She came out with whole new music. I was waiting for the sirens because I was like, who is that? Had the blue and yellow background like she part of X-Men. You know what I'm saying? Because she the juggernaut. I don't know if they still call her that over here. But, like, all, like, she, you know what I'm saying? So, Blake tried to look like she was helping. She went over there, and I said, this how you know also that she turning? Because I'm like, the other girl's helping out or trying to fight. I was like, Blake ain't going over there to, start nothing. So when she grabbed the thing, she hit Jordynne in the back of her thing, and then gave it, like, what's her name? Jacy Jayne ended up retaining. And then she gave the title to her and walked off. And someone was like, she a heel out the gate? And it was memes up. It was like Tony Storm probably looking like, I told y'all. And someone was like, is that a bad thing that they made her a heel out the gate? And I was like, no, everybody don't come in as a face. Everybody don't come in as a face. I'm going to tell you so far, my favorite match, y'all know, it combined the two things I love, was the Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Okay? I got goosebumps. You hear me? First people that came out was the Kabuki Warriors. I know Asuka was back, but I haven't seen that. So she comes out. She has a one piece on, and I don't ever think I've seen her in a one piece now, unless she probably went to Saudi. I don't think I've ever. She's always had like a top stomach showing, But I'm like, it's giving action star. I'm here for it. I love and missed her so much because I was like, Asuka. I started laughing because I'm like, Asuka is dancing to everything. She's living her best life, not a care in the world. I said she is so unbothered and getting her life. And then every time they show a new group coming out, they'll shoot the camera over there to Kiari and Asuka, and they over there dancing. I was crying. I was like, I know that's right. So they came out first. They look phenomenal. Y'all know, for me, Kiari, like, whoever does her makeup, I don't know if she do it herself, and her hair can do no wrong to me. Okay? She's never had a bad look. And then, who came after that? I think the champs came. Because I was confused. Because when I saw Roxanne and Rock, I said, what happened? And this is before they said, this is when they said Liv had hurt her shoulder. Because I was like, where's my girl? But I was like, I ain't mad because my girl Liv ain't there. Kind of mad, but I'm like, my other girl Roxanne is there. Because I thought they was going to make her forfeit the titles because she had to go do a movie. So I thought she went back to go do the movie still. And then it was like, no, she hurt her shoulder. And I was sitting there like, she forever hurting her shoulder, ain't it? Is it the same shoulder? Golly. And I was like, she might have to get surgery if she keep hurting that same shoulder. So she's out. Them two came out in the purple, whatever, you know. So then, so I'm like, oh, so Roxanne really remember Judgment Day for real. So then, it was Raquel looking at Roxanne for me sideways. So then, So and Zaria come out. I forgot what the hell they call themselves. But y'all know So is my girl. That Soul Snatcher is something. And let her do it right. And the person that she's doing it off of plays it well. Listen. Okay? And y'all need to stop having them conversations like if she black or not. First of all, she told y'all she was mixed. And she was like, it wouldn't matter. She said something about people, she has to prove herself that her dad is black and stuff like that. And someone was like, she looked like Charlotte Flair. And the whole thing, oh, they don't count her as white. They said, they don't say, they was like, Kalani's mixed too, but they was like, Kalani be in black spaces. And someone said, what does that mean? It was like, she be around black people more. She hangs out, she has black friends, basically. Her man is black. Like that. They was like, Soul doesn't do that. Soul doesn't probably hang around black spaces as much. She might hang around like a gathering of people from different cultures. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or white people. And it's just like her man, Tyler Bate, is white. And then people I had put, and she was like, if I'm a fourth black, it wouldn't count. And I said to tell her, I responded on Twitter and I said, let me tell you something. I said, basically, F the ICW world, or IWC world. I said, because listen, because it was the poster from when they did the Black History thing. I said, Ava/Simone is a fourth black, okay? Because her dad half black. The Rock is half black. I was like, and we don't tell her she not black. I said, it's because you're a black woman, or a mixed woman, I don't know what you call yourself, that likes to surf, that can be white passing, and that is a thing. Y'all act like, and this is how y'all know people don't either care or they only use their history when it pertains to them. Because we know of black people that have been white passing for them to have a better life for themselves and their family. That they're light enough, or back then they were deemed light enough that they could pass for white. Even if they had strong black features. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they could pass for white and had super curly or wavy hair, like, they'll just think, oh, she must be from Portugal or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't consider, oh, she might be mixed or black. And if the husbands found out that their wives like that, they didn't say anything because they didn't want to lose their status or get in trouble. And if the women found out that their husbands were, they wouldn't say anything either. So this has been going on for years. Okay? And I was like, it's sad because y'all do this with people. They have to prove themselves because y'all did this with Mi Chin. And she's black and Korean. Y'all do this with people because y'all don't want to believe it. And I was like, why people got to lie for it? Second of all, I was like, if she said she was black and was albino, y'all wouldn't have no problem with that answer. Y'all was like, oh, okay. It don't matter. But if it did matter, it's none of your business. Like, I could tell you my parents is purple and green. Like, that don't matter. As long as she not racist, okay, and putting hatred towards anybody she works against or comes around or stuff like that, and spewing like bad energy when she comes around, that's all that matter. You know what I'm saying? All that other stuff y'all be talking about don't matter. Y'all just be having something to be mad at. Okay? And I know that for a fact because Charlotte came out look phenomenal. And I don't know who did the cuff flower things. The feather things, but they put detail in that. You hear me? They put detail in it. Because that thing was long. Looked gorgeous. And then when I'm looking at her feed from Instagram, her gear was the only one that shined in the dark, like sparkle. 2. And her makeup. Okay? Then Lex comes out. Lex's makeup is always on point. But they do that we're not friends situation, whatever. And people's like, now it took, and this stuff like this pissed me off, because it took for y'all to read her Charlotte Tribune to realize that she's just having fun in Charlotte. That yes, she's still dealing with the pain of her not being married no more and dealing with the pain of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it took for y'all to read that, for y'all to cheer. She was like, Atlanta loves me. And I was like, girl, we've been loved you. I was like, the fans loved you. Because someone gonna say, this is the best work she's done as a face in her career. I said, y'all forgot about she was a face with Bianca before she got injured. Y'all forgot. Y'all must have had amnesia. Because I'm like, we was all cheering for Charlotte. She was on the War Games team. And then she come back and she try to talk as a face. Y'all boo her. So then she goes from face to heel. And now, I don't know what the hell y'all want. Because y'all halftime boo Bianca. And then when she left and come back, y'all want to cheer for her. So that's the thing. That's why I say I don't try to get too, when I was watching, I was just like, I just say what I say and get off. Because I'm like, when you get too involved in the IWC, it irks your nerve. Well, it irks mine. And I was like, and some of this stuff just pops up on my timeline because it, like, you know, the computer knows or the app knows what I like. And it's like, most stuff is sports related. If it's not music related, it's sports related on my timeline. It's either sports, music, or like interior design stuff on my timeline and funny stuff. Okay? Or nostalgic stuff. That's all that's on my timeline. Like old TV shows, old movies, stuff like that. But I'm like, because somebody else put that on Instagram talking about she's good as a face. I said she been good. But I was here for the championship. I was here for it. I think Raquel went off on, who did she fight? Alexa for a while. Alexa couldn't get over it for a while. And then it took for Zaria had to tag herself in, I think. And then it took for that. Then the Stone Snatcher. Then they knocked down, was it Zaria or Raquel that knocked down Charlotte? Then Charlotte get back up there. I think Zaria knocked down Charlotte. I said, y'all gonna stop knocking my girl down. First of all. Second of all, I said, Ash, get your look back. I said, whoop the ass. I said, when you get out there, go off. You hear me? Second of all, that Stone Snatcher that Soul did on Charlotte, I was like, oh my God. I wanted Charlotte to do the moonsault so bad. She didn't get to do it though. But I'm like, the part when, and then they was, I think Cole was like, this is the Raquel we missed from NXT. And I said, yeah, because when I wanted the tag team for the strongest women at the time, and it was Raquel versus Bianca versus Rhea, and they tried to do Raquel versus Rhea, like start that whole thing with the NXT feud of them, the best friends. I was like, Raquel's moveset was too slow. She was moving too slow. And I said, and the time, I said, you caught it because she would try to go do something, and it took forever. Rhea will do like this, and then she'll move over in position so she can do it. I'm like, that's how you know you taking too long. I'm like, the person that you're wrestling against has to try to step up something so you can hurry it along because y'all match is time. Okay? So, let me get my charger because my phone about to die. Oh, so what I was saying, sorry. Yeah, her move, so I was like, you know, so then my girl came in Prodigy. She tried to do pop rocks on. It was funny because I was like, oh, look at them, Alexa and Roxanne. I was like, they is about the same height, fighting each other. So then after that, let's try to get to Charlotte. I don't think she let it happen. That's when I think, what's her name, had tagged herself in. Zaria had tagged herself in. But I was confused at one point in time because I think Wade said, or Cole, one of them had said, who do we know that's legal? And I think, oh no, Wade said that, and Cole, I think, said, this why, he's like, that's why it's the, we got professionals in the ring. He said, because I said, I know for sure that Raquel was legal at the time. I said, I don't know if Zaria or Soul or who was legal. But then that move that they did together reminded me of a move that Tyler Bate does with Pete, because I was about to call him Butch. And then when she did the whirly roll thing, I said, yep, I said, that's what her man do. That's what her man do. So then yeah, so then one point in time Zaria was gonna spear Alexa. Excuse me. Charlotte moved Alexa out the way so quick and then looked down at her, and people were cheering for Charlotte so much, and then I was like, and speared the hell out of Soul. Soul looked like she lost 2 ribs the way she was sitting there like that. Okay. Also, Jordynne left the match. She was bleeding, I think, from her nose. But for the match. So then something happened. I forgot who got pinned, but I know Raquel had pinned because it was 4 teams. Yeah, because at one point in time, Asuka was in there going off. Because he said, nobody's ready for the Asuka. Now I can think it's about her saying, nobody's ready. And I think Raquel had, it was either one of the Kabuki Warriors or Zaria, and pinned her. And was talking trash and stuff like that. And they got to retain. And I was like, that was such a good match. That was such a good match. Like, they could run that back. For real. And it was like, they was like, who's going to get the titles? They was like, we literally got one tag team from every brand. And this is why I say Survivor Series needs to be 2 nights instead of SummerSlam. And one night, they should have 1 title match or 2 title matches, because they always have 1. 2 title matches. I don't care which title. 1 man, 1 woman. Okay? For the first day. And then have okay, so say we have the Women's War Games day 1, because I've said this more than once. Say we have the Women's War Games day 1. Okay? And we always start with the War Games. So we're going to start with that. Then we have we'll have a men's title match. Okay? Then we'll have the men, then we'll have the men's match. How it used to be. So, some from NXT, some from SmackDown, some from Raw. Which would be a conflict in itself if you know. Because if the storylines are good enough, then you got to learn to work together. And some of y'all hate each other. Okay? I don't know what the winner gets. Other than bragging rights. But, And then, maybe I don't know. And then we'll end it, because it's basically girls' night. We'll end it with the women's championship. Anyone. IC, NXT, World, SmackDown, US, Tag, anyone. Okay? Then night 2, men's war game, we're going to start it off. Then we're going to have a women's title match. Another one. So we're doing 2. Okay? 2 women, 2 men title matches. 1 for each day. Then we'll have the women SmackDown versus Raw versus then we'll have the women's SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT. Then we'll end it up with a men's championship. Okay? And that could be 2 nights. And then it gives it enough time that if the women's war games is 45 minutes and each night is 2 hours or hour and a half, you only probably need 4 matches. 5 if you want to be cute. But 4 on the card each day. Okay? SummerSlam, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But I've been saying this about Survivor Series for the past year and a half. Okay? Then, so I'm just saying that based off of, because they've had one for each brand. So then after that, it was Miss Proceed with Caution. And I say, it's so funny how she has the rock music and all that, but she comes out still with the glow shoes on. So I say, it's a tiny bit of good in her, just a tiny bit. So then we got The Storm Is Coming. Okay? With the blues, they both look phenomenal. Before that, we had my girl come out. I said, I wonder if she made that with the broke fingers, how she did that. And I was like, shout out to her husband for the Jordans that match her outfit. Because I know from either past interviews or from Love in WWE, she said he buys her, when he buys a pair of Jordans, when he buys a pair of Jordans, he buys her a pair too. So I said, I know them the shoes he bought. I know a pair of shoes he bought her. I was like, those are fitting. But I was like, low key, they didn't really need Bianca there because she didn't really do nothing but to check to see if they was all right. I said, and then she called it down the middle, whoever pinned who. But I was like, but if she would have did or took a side, I said that would have been controversial. Number two, when I think Becky had first tried to pin Lyra, she got in that face like 1, 2, 3. I said, I said, don't do that. I said, y'all be forgetting that Jessica and Daphne, before they became refs, used to be wrestlers. Okay? If they wanted to hit you with an elbow real quick and walk off, they're not gonna do like Charles and take a bump. They're gonna probably hit you back. Don't be playing. Okay? So they ended up fighting. For a while, who had the advantage? For a while, I think Naomi had the advantage. And I said, I wonder if Paz did her gear only because the way it was designed. And I said, not her having half chains, half razor marks. And let me tell you something. Someone on Instagram said, y'all hear her? She was like, when Jade was about to put Naomi through a table, she said, you ready? And Naomi shook her head. You know, and someone was like, well, the wrestlers have to communicate with each other because of time and to make sure everything's safe and everyone's safe. But then someone was like, yeah, but the kayfabe, they tried to come out with something the other day. And she was like, Naomi was riding on Jade's briefcase. And then when she saw us, she said her and Jade ran back into the thing. And I wanted to comment, y'all have been real mad had y'all seen all of them minus Jade, because Jade was on vacation with her family. All of them minus Jade, acting like they was on Naked and Afraid and enjoying Natty's birthday together. Like, I say, I understand for the people that want to keep kayfabe and real life separate because they can't keep it separate, like in their brain. I said, but I'm one of the people that could keep it separate. So, like, it don't faze me. Like, after the thing go off, I don't expect y'all to be like, if it's now, I will say keep the persona up only because if you're coming out to the parking lot and there's little kids there, you want them to keep that alive. Because like most people said, for a long time, we thought that these people really hated each other. Or people are like, people think certain people are related for real. Like, to this day, people still think Kane and Undertaker are brothers. Because somebody in the comments said, you can't tell my grandma they not brothers. You can't tell them they not brothers. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, I understand that for the kids aspect, or like adult, maybe that, you know what I'm saying, just got in wrestling, or maybe special needs or something like that, for that, to keep that alive, try to keep the innocence or whatever. I was like, but they do live outside of, what's the name, like, so she was like, she said, you ready, and this, that, and the third. I said, I'm also thinking, I said, this also, I know how Naomi's such a pro, and she's been doing this for a while. She's 16 years in the game. I said, because when Naomi had hit the announcement table that got the glass to show the display, I had to rewind it for a second because I was tweeting, so I didn't really catch it. But when they showed it, I said, oh no, I said, she hit Jade. Then they showed the replay. I said, she positioned her body enough that she kicked right above the plexiglass. But because Jade's arms were like this, it made it look like she went through. And I said, because it happened so fast, it looked like she really kicked Jade. I said, but she didn't even hit Jade. I said, now Jade might have caught from the screen, caught the ricochet effect. Like, I said, but she ain't, you know what I'm saying? I said, that's a professional. She would be with somebody I would want to wrestle. Okay? When Jade got put through the table, she didn't, like, she went like this or something. Jade didn't really go through whole back. Her butt only went through the table. And I said, because that's got the most cushion. So I'm like, yeah, your behind might hurt, but I'm like, the rest of you, depending on how your neck and head land, if you don't tuck your chin, I was like, the rest of it's going to probably hurt. Then I was like, she did the eye thing. She made sure she got close enough to the eye, like to the cheekbone and all that stuff. So then when Jay put Naomi through the table, she fell to the table. But when she pinned Jade pinned her. I don't know how Naomi ended up bleeding. That's the only mystery. Because I was like, oh, when she was bleeding. But Bianca was like, you okay? And she checked on her, you okay? So then at one point in time, towards the end of the match, Jade won. Which this is better than WrestleMania. And I will say, because the wrestling skills have come up, the storyline involves both of them. It's not just one-sided with Naomi doing all of the work. I feel like Naomi, with the thing that led up to WrestleMania, carried that feud. Like, now it's justified. Okay? And Miss Queen of the Ring, like, you Queen of the Ring. Okay? Second of all, also, I was like, yeah, I said Jade got a whole baby. Because at first, that's why I was like, Jade, you gotta fight back. Because I was like, what the hell did she whooped Jade with the kendo stick, and then Jade had took out that tool belt, and then she was going to do something else to Jade. And I said, not you doing all this. And I said, 9 times out of 10, her baby there watching her, and you beating her up. So yeah, I was like, I would want to wrestle somebody like that I feel safe, because they know they're going to keep me safe before they keep themselves safe, which is a bad thing for them. But I'm like, I love people like that in wrestling. Like at WrestleMania 40, when Jay and Jimmy went through that table, if you watch that, the way Jay like speared him, but Jay turned his body when they was falling so that he took the brunt of that. That's why that Monday when they had that fatal four, like, he was patched all the way up and Jimmy wasn't. I said, because Jay took all that. I was like, he made sure the partner he was dancing with in the ring was safe or outside of the ring. But yeah, so I was like, first I was like, Jay must have got beef, because I'm like, Bianca tried to hold her hand up, she ain't giving her hand. So then after a while, she gave her hand, and then Bianca looked at both of them and then walked off. So I said, what the hell does this mean now? What does this mean? I'm so confused. Like, because I'm like, she concerned to see if Naomi good. She concerned to see if Jay good. Like, both of y'all is good. And I just watched the stuff from like the end of March 30th when they was in Knoxville, May 30th. And Naomi was talking about she went into their parents' house and saw the photo. I said, the hell? And the dad was like, the mom was like, and you could tell the dad was enjoying it, her dad, because after a while, he's just sitting there like this, like, I want to see where this is going. But then it was the Battle Royale. So the Battle Royale starts. Who was the first person? Nikki Bella came out. People thought that AJ Lee was coming out. And then people was like, y'all not about to fool us with this history of AJ Lee, and y'all not going to show it. But before all of that, they showed, certain people there. They showed Mark Henry. They showed Maurice. They showed, trying to see if anyone else was there, men or women. They showed, Trish was in the match. They had showed, from what I can remember, they showed Ivory. Because at first I said, And I said, that's Ivory. Then they showed Jazz. I said, for her to be there alone makes me want to cry. Okay? Y'all notice? I said, now, since she there, put her in the Hall of Fame if she wants to do it. Because, you know, some of them don't want to do it. Like they said, they approached Jeff, and Jeff was like, nah. Then they showed Jacqueline. When I tell you, I was so excited to see them and about to cry. And I was sad by the post that Gayle King had put up. She was like, this is why people deal with dysmorphia, because y'all talking about how they look age and stuff like that. Like, Jacqueline's in her 60s. And like, people are supposed to age. It was like, because of all this plastic surgery and all these Botox and stuff, lips and stuff, people don't want to age. But I'm like, that comes with life. Like, you should be thankful that you can make it to an old age. And my parents used to tell me that all the time, and I never understood that until I got in my 30s. And I was like, I understand it. I understand it now. But I was about to cry because I was like, them three, Chyna, Sable, Lita was everything to me. Like, Lita came later. I like Trish. I thought she was cool, whatever, and the rest of the girls. But I'm like, Ivory, Jacqueline, Chyna, and Jazz, and then Lita. I was like, had I been sitting around them when they had filmed that, I would have busted out in tears. Like I told y'all that before, that has been watching. Like, musicians don't faze me. I grew up with around musicians all my life. My son's father's a musician. He plays for country artists. My cousin is on tour with Lotto right now. I have producer family, people that does sound engineer, all that other stuff. Not phase. My papa's, even though she's my distant cousin, my papa's first cousin, Laverne Baker, is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, musicians don't, but like me growing up watching the Attitude Era, watching them, watching and wanting to be in the WNBA and watching NBA and stuff like that. Like, that's who I fan out over. So like, I would have fan out, and I was like, and they look good. Okay, they look great. And I was like, I know Jazz is in I Say Wrestling, debuting a belt. I'm not sure if she's still over NWA or not. But like, I just listen. So then the second person that came out was Chelsea. I know people that do Pretty Deadly does Chelsea's gear. She always looks great. She came out with Secret Harvest, and whoever came up with that phrase needs a raise. They are a genius. Keep them around. Okay. She comes out. Them two get to it. But the whole Fatal 4-Way, I think, yeah, Kiari started that off the rip because they was all standing there. So then everybody comes out. When they come back from commercial, they show, I think they showed Zelina coming out. They showed, I think, Candace coming out. Candace had stopped. Then they showed her with Nia. And I said, oh, Candace got new gear. I was like, it's celebrating. I was like, oh, it looked like, so they hugged. Oh, and at the end of the Fatal 4-Way, what had me cracking up too is Raquel and then one. And she was on, Roxanne was on Raquel like she was a baby. And she was cheering like, yeah, yeah. So then they sat her down and she was like this. I said, not her patting her on her head. And then Raquel was over there talking trash. And I was like, as you should. But then like they showed Candace and them. They showed, oh no, they showed Ivy before that. Ivy now. They showed, trying to think who else they showed coming in. Because I think they showed Ivy, Candace, Nia, and who was last or second to last? I don't remember. I think that's all I remember. I think Nia was the last person to come in the ring, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was somebody else after her. But like, that was good. First of all, I didn't even realize who Natty was in the corner. Oh, they Stephanie, Valkeria, and Juliana. And I say, y'all ever notice every time after Stephanie comes out, even with NXT, Juliana comes out? I said, I think that happened in the Rumble. I said, when she used to come out NXT, the other one used to come out because they made them have the beef or whatever. I was like, when they both came on the main roster, they did that. I said, they still doing that. Okay? So then everybody was going, the first 2 seconds, Tatum and Izzy Dane got knocked out by Liv. Kalani got almost knocked out. She came back, did a headstand, got back on her. She looked great. Lash looked great, such a powerhouse. Somebody said the last 3 women that was in the Royal Rumble have the best behinds in WWE. I beg to differ personally, but they all got great bottoms. Chelsea is hilarious because, well, first people got mad because when Stephanie was going to do the devil's kiss on, was it Nikki? She broke it up. But then they got mad because Stephanie, I was like, Chelsea's hilarious because I think she knocked Nikki down and then start doing the dance. So then Wade gonna say, oh, she's insulting Lola. And Cole was like, what you talking about? Nikki was doing it first. He said, well, Lola does it now. Well, technically, Lola, that's true. They're both Hispanic heritage. Nikki is Hispanic Italian, Mexican Italian, and Lola is Hispanic heritage. You know, salsa and dance and stuff like that is part of heritage. But I'm like, on TV, Nikki's been doing it first. Second of all, I was like, Chelsea funny as hell. And I was like, Lola, technically Wade ain't wrong because Lola got upset or took that personal. Because she attacked both of them, and then her and Nikki did the dance together. 2, okay, when they first started, it was NXT girls, Raw girls, SmackDown girls, and that's why I said something about Survivor Series. But they let the Raw and the NXT girls fight first, and then the SmackDown girls got into it afterwards. I said they smart, okay. Then, who was it? Candice got eliminated, and I think she helped eliminated. Was it Michin? Or Michin got eliminated and tried to eliminate somebody, and they got pulled up. And then when it was Lash, Nia, and Steph. First of all, when I seen Juliana come out and she had the U.S. Women's Championship, I was like, that's how I know I'm behind, because I didn't even know that Zelina lost the championship. 2, I wouldn't have picked. I know y'all bring these people here and promise them stuff like that, but I wouldn't have had Julia get the championship right away. Like, next on my list was either Beef Abomichin or Candice. Low key, Candice is a great heel, by the way. And then yeah, because I'm thinking now, I was like, they ain't use Nikki Cross either, so we could have had somebody like a Nikki Cross versus a Zoe or something like that. If Zoe's not out, I don't know if Zoe's out or not. But for Saturday Night Main Event, but yeah, Lash showed her dominance, and someone said, I don't care. Someone said, Lash is dominant, talking about destroying in battle, in the battle royale. Talking about, I don't care. They was like, I'm happy that she in the battle royale, but the Dallas Stars need her in WNBA. I said, okay, because she used to be in WNBA. And I said, I said she could probably try to do a contract half and half, because the WNBA season is only from May to September. So I'm like, she could probably do a contract half and half, and the days that she don't and not have a game or something like that, she could do NXT even during the season. But I was like, if they don't use Lash, they could get Jade. Jade had a full college basketball scholarship, and then went to go play overseas before she became a fitness trainer, and then became a psychiatrist, and then became a wrestler. Like, y'all get Jade too, okay? But I said one of them, shoot. But oh, my ear is. But who else? Natty got kicked out. She tried to do the caterpillar. Someone's like, you a technician. And I was like, oh, they're working together. And I was like, the dungeon dolls. And then they helped Nikki. And I was like, oh, they're helping another girl that does a dungeon. And all the things. And then I thought Lash was going to have it because I was like, if Lash gets the opportunity to go to Backlash, that would have been historic. And this is before. I know of Naomi cashing in. I still haven't watched Rhea versus Io. I'm about to. I want to know how it's done. I still got to watch this match because I got to dissect it. But had it been Naomi versus Lash, that would have been everything. And I'm here for Naomi versus Stephanie. But someone was like, could you imagine Stephanie versus Io? And I said, that would feed families. But I don't know. Because to me, Stephanie is more of a wrestler as far as like technician, striker, stuff like that. But as far as athleticism, I feel like Naomi got her. So even if it was a match with like, it would have been better a match with Io versus Naomi. 2, when Stephanie had won, she was like, Stephanie May had asked her basically in Spanish, what does this win mean for you? And I said, not her speaking Spanish. So then she said something about like her home is WWE. And then something I think about roughly, it was about 3, 4 in the morning when I was watching this part. And her home, something about the world is her home or something like that. I said, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know. I was like, I'm tired. And then she was like, y'all gonna remember my name. And I said, okay. And then, I just remember Rhea coming out in that outfit. Because I was like, I don't know who did the snakeskin vest, but I like it on her. And then, to me, when they show her coming in, I said, I love the fact that when Rhea meets her fans, and when she comes in now, she comes in fresh face. Like a lot of the women, that just lets you know she don't care about her appearance enough to be wanting to wear makeup all the time on camera. Because I'm like, a lot of the women, if they don't wear makeup, they will come and put shades on. Rhea was like, nope. Because I said, she's somebody looks good with or without makeup. And I said, but the makeup be making her eyes pop. Because I think yesterday she had red and black nails, but I think she had a black lip. And I want to say red and black eyeshadow. And her eyes are like a greenish, brown, hazelish. And it makes her eyes pop. So she came out, and then Io come out. So y'all know that's my song. That and Bianca are my 2 songs. Okay. And Solo. Solo still got the best song on the roster. So them 2, Solo, Dragon Lee. Who's the other song I danced to? Trick Williams. Right? Yeah, I think those are the only 5 songs I've danced to. And I was wondering, well, like during this time, I said, are there men in the back watching this? Like men wrestlers? Like, is Jimmy and them back there? Is Trick back there supporting Lash? Did they let Matt come to support his wife, Chelsea? Like, who is in the back? Did Brie come and she's sitting in the back and she's supporting her sister because she's not signed to WWE under a Legends contract? She's just Brie. Or maybe she is and she's still working on getting her ring stuff back together and we don't know that yet. Like, who is cheering people on? Like, put that on YouTube. Then Io comes out the song and she, Rhea sings her song to calm her nerves. Io repeats women's world champion and her thing is always glittery and looks cute. And Jessica, I think, is refereeing this match, and it is Naomi and Jade was a no holds bars match. I think this is a regular match. But someone had mentioned a lumberjack match. And I was like, I haven't heard someone say that or seen one of those in a while. Can we get one of those on the roster, please? Sometime soon. Okay? Sometime soon. That's all I'm saying. And, yeah, so they came out and they started announcing. And, I was like, I could just tell this going to be a good match. If it run it back from WrestleMania, the hype, even before that Monday night before that, I know it's going to be a good match. Because someone was like, one thing about Rhea, they was like, she going to wrestle her tail off. And one thing about Io is she is athletic. And I said, and that's what I'm here for. And that's why it's the main event. Not just because Both of them are very popular. But you know, this is something that's probably going to leave you speechless at the end of this match. So let me go ahead and watch it. So, you know. Okay, y'all, so I watched the last match. Yo. First of all, I thought nothing so far could top that the tag team match after WrestleMania. Okay? Montez and them and using a prosthetic leg, or the triple threat with Rhea. So far with Rhea, Bianca, and Io, or the triple threat with Punk, Roman, and Seth. This Io versus Rhea one is right up there. Got to round out the 5, okay, for WWE. I'm saying that because it was such a good. First, it started off slow, you know, because I'm like, what is everybody talking about? Then they kept hitting each other with each other's signatures. They kept kicking out. First of all, my girl Rhea is doing it in full set nails. Okay? She ain't break a nail. You hear me? Io done went jeans to the sky, did all the things. Then she slammed her, I think, on the announcement table. Then she slammed her on her back. I said, just by her getting slammed on my back alone, I would have been, I would have just ripped off my nails. That would have been less painful. Then they knock out Jessica Carr. Shout out to her, by the way, because people was like, oh, the referee could take a bump. This how you know. So when I'm really involved in something, I get hyper fixated on stuff. I want to know what, like, so I started rewatching WWE consistently. Consistently, I was watching from April 2022 to I think the Friday after WrestleMania of this year, 2025. After that, I just fell off the wagon because to me, it wasn't as interesting. And I think, honestly, to be honest with you, I tried to stick it out longer than I wanted to because the events leading up to WrestleMania wasn't all that interesting to me either. The only thing that was interesting to me was a triple threat. And I thought like the Joe Henry and the Randy one was cute. I know it's one with some guys, but I was also upset because Street Profits weren't in the WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And for the first time in 3 years that I watched it, Jimmy wasn't in it, but I wasn't too upset about that. I was more upset about the Street Profits because even when they didn't have titles, they put a show on. When it was the Pride versus the Final Testament, it was a good show. When it was the, I think the Gauntlet Tag Team match, they were on there. I think a pre-show one, in 2023, they put on a good show. So I'm like, why aren't they on it? Then they did it the Friday after, and people was pissed and was like, this should have been a WrestleMania. I said, hello, okay? Because I've been said that y'all gonna stop playing with the Street Profits, okay? But after that, besides them, it was trailing for me. Like, it wasn't all that interesting. People were saying because the Bloodline was the best story thing on there, and I'm like, yes and no. I'm like, we technically kind of ended the Bloodline situation, Survivor Series, but I'm like, if you knew that was going to happen, mind you, we did not know Jimmy was going to break his toe. We did not know Tonga Loa was going to have an eye patch and all that, and Bronson, I could think, got injured, and then a lot of key players are gone, like Ilya Dragunov, Charlotte was out, Asuka was out, stuff like that. But if your writers are good enough, we should have centered it around something else or brought people up. I'm still watching past SmackDown and Raw, so I'm on the month of June now, even though we're in July. I'm in the month of June, and I'm excited that Zelina got the title, but from what I heard, they didn't give her not a segment to do promos, and y'all know she's one of the best fight people as far as women in the business, her and BFAB. Okay, anyway, so it's gotten a little stale to me, but the match was so good. Then they knocked that, well, saying that to say this, all that I get hyper fixated. So I follow Jessica and Daphne on Twitter, and I think they have like they be having like old pictures of them when they used to wrestle and stuff like that. So people be surprised that they can take a bump, and I'll be sitting there like, seriously? Like, y'all didn't know that they used to wrestle or nothing like that? I know some people wrestle are refs only. Okay, they never tried to play it, or they tried to play it and realized they sucked at it, And then it was like, all right, I could ref it because I could call it like nobody's business. And refereeing is a hard job. You hear me? I was a ref for the kids AAU thing, but at the same time I was the only one on the court. I was the only ref. It's supposed to be 4. Well, no, for kids they normally only have 2, even though they should have 4. So it's hard to call all these things because you miss some stuff. But it's harder than it seems. Like watching it, because when we watch it on TV, we get the up close of the game, so we can call them like, yo, that's a foul, stuff like. But if you're a referee, it's harder to see because it might be a foul on the other side of the court. I'm just using this as basketball as an example, and that's not the side I'm supposed to be referencing. So if I call it, I call it late because I didn't see it, because that's not my side. I could see it, but not really what happened. So she took a bump. I was like, good for her. I said, because she used to be a wrestler. Like, good for her. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't mind if it was her versus Daphne, and I still want Adam versus Nick, not unless either one of them are injured for what's her name, for a match. But them two went out. Jessica got bumped off. Then they went out to the where the stands were with the people. Then they were slamming each other on the crates. Io had jumped from the top of the crate, right, to the bottom for Rhea. Rhea, that is concrete. It was only a rug. I said, wait. Then was stepping on her on the steps. I said, Rhea's the MVP of this match. Lose, win, or withdraw. And then after Jessica Cargill, she was she pinned Io. It was like 5-6 seconds. And normally, like with the men, after they do that, they'll send, like when Charles gets knocked out, because he always want to take the punt, they'll send out like Eddie or somebody else. They ain't do that for her. So then once she came back, I think Jessica came to, Io did something. Rhea ended up reversing it, it was a nice Spanish fly. Both knocked out. Here come Naomi. They play her music, show her face, running down with Daphne. I want to call her by her name, Aja. Running out with Daphne, nose tucked up, holding on to, I said, she hugging on to them ribs, child. So first of all, she brave for wrestling in that suit that got them cutters on it. Holding on to the ribs, yelling at Alicia, cash me in. Cashing her in. She knocks Rhea out the thing, pins Io, becomes the world champion for the first time in 7 or 8 years. Okay? It was like she's a history maker. She's been a part of WWE for 16 years. All 3 women in the ring have been history makers. I think all the women this generation are breaking history. Like Charlotte's the only 14th time and a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. Bianca is the first black woman to headline WrestleMania with Sasha, and she's the first woman to win Evolution, the Elimination Chamber twice. Bayley is the first Grand Slam Women's Champion. I think Becky has held, I want to say Becky was the first one to have 2 belts at once. They used to call her Becky 2 belts. I'm talking about the OGs, not the new girls. No, because my new girl Roxanne, she's the Iron person for Royal Rumble, the longest person in the ring. My girl Soul is 2 belts right now. I'm trying to think. Jade, no, that's not WWE. But Liv is the one who's held money. She's been a 2-time women's champion. She's been a Money in the Bank winner. She's been a 4-time tag champion with Roxanne. I call them Crazy Cool. I forgot. I think she was a tag team champion with her old partners too. I'm not sure. She was part of a faction. She's part of a new faction now. She's she won that thing at Crown Jewel, was called, with the ring, that gaudy looking ring, because it was both champions and whoever won was the winner. So it was her, because last year Nia was the Queen of the Ring and the SmackDown champion, and then Liv was Raw champion, and then Liv won, and then Cody beat Gunther that year. And then for Natty has got all these world records from the Guinness Book of World Records. Nikki is the longest reigning Demon Champion. Michelle's not wrestling. So Michelle McCool is the first one. Charlotte is the last one to ever hold the championship. Rhea has held the NXT Women's Championship, the NXT UK Women's Championship, the Raw and the SmackDown Championship, and that's never gonna be done again because they don't even have an NXT UK no more. It's another one she held. It's because it was like she held 5, and because it was like she's the first woman ever to do that, and I said she's gonna be the last woman to do it, now unless they open up NXT UK again. Oh, I think it was NXT. No, NXT Championship, Raw, SmackDown, UK. I'm not sure if it was they didn't have the North American Championship then. So it must have been an NXT. I think it was NXT Tag Championship. But and then Naomi has been a TNA champion. She has been a SmackDown. She has been a tag team champion. She was the first Black SmackDown champion. Now she's a Raw champion. Which technically it is a SmackDown the old championship that was on SmackDown, only because remember when Charlotte and Rhea were champions, and Rhea was on SmackDown, and then they moved her to Raw, and then Charlotte was on Raw and moved her, and they just retired the belt. They was holding each other's brand belt, and they just retired them and gave them a new belt. So technically, she's the SmackDown champion again. But if they renamed it, I don't know how that go. I don't know how to go. But let me tell you something. This thing, like I said, needs to be every year. Everybody says that. And if not, every 2 years. And I know y'all have stuff lined up. And someone's like the writers and stuff like that. Listen, y'all not doing nothing really from September to October. Even if it don't lead to SummerSlam. Even if it's not between, because what is it now? July? So normally between Backlash and SummerSlam, we don't really have nothing. So they had a certain main event. Because Backlash is what, May? And then they'll normally chill out until SummerSlam, because SummerSlam used to be always the end of July. But even if you don't have nothing, you can have it now in June. Okay? Because you'll have something like they had. Or you can have it in October. Y'all had replaced Hell in a Cell with Fastlane 1 year. And then it was Bad Blood the next year. Y'all could put the Evolution right there. Because technically, for real, that's not even no held position. Like the other spots, we're going to have Money to Make. We're going to have Royal Rumble, Elimination Chambers, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania. We having them guaranteed. Clash at the Castle, Crown Jewel. We know we having those. But the other ones that we be having really be optional. Because 1 year could be Hell in a Cell. Like Dr. One, 1 year could be Bad Blood. 1 year could be Fastlane. 1 year they could have if they decide to bring Halloween Havoc back to the main roster, they could do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's so many names of things that WWE has owned, from ECW to WCW, stuff like that they haven't even used yet, that they could use to put right there. But put Evolution there instead. Second of all, speaking of all these names, bruh, if Dusty Rhodes' family don't get no check for the names and the rules of these games, he better. Okay? I know Cody and them got a foundation under his and his daddy name, but the fact that all these recent stuff that I've been watching has been made up by Dusty, and the man was broke at one point in time, shouldn't have never happened. This is why back in the day, I know people was just wrestling because they wanted to. I wish he had an agent. I wish he had an agent, because he came with Survivor Series. I don't know if he came with Deadline or not. Okay, that's my favorite thing from NXT. But I think Halloween Havoc. I think what's Saturday Night Main Event? They were saying there was like another thing found about Dusty. I said, well, dang, how many PLE names did he come up with, and games he came up with? Okay, like. And why come he ain't get paid for none of these? Did they give him like a payment for the name and thing in his spot, and gave him a lump sum one-time check? Because if anything, if it was smart, give me 4%. Give me a small payment out right now. 4% ain't even a lot. Okay? You can give me 4%. Okay? So that means if all the merch sales and all the ticket sales and stuff is $1 million. Okay? I'm getting 40,000. That's good enough. 4% is good enough. Okay, I ain't out here trying to ask for 20 and 10%. I want 4% for as long as y'all doing these things. I don't care if I'm dead and gone. I got grandchildren. Give them to the grandchildren. And I'm saying that so that my family could always have income coming in. That's what Homegirl did from Frozen. When people was doing like Toy Story and stuff back in the day, they was just getting 20 million for the movie. Homegirl from Frozen that played Anna said no in my contract, because she helped write some of the songs and she sings on the songs. And she's one of the favorite characters in the song. She said, I asked for 4% in my contract. She said, I'm getting this much for doing the movie, plus 4% of all sales of Anna. So I said, as you should. So that movie is a multi-billion-dollar movie. You know how much money she be missing out on just off the 20 million? That's getting cheated. So if you make, if it's $1 billion, 1% is $10 million. I'm getting 40 million. 1% of $1 million, I'm doing this off my head, is 10,000. Because 100,000 is 10%. 10 and another, yeah, it's 10,000. 40% is 40,000. You still got $960,000 left if you make $1 million. And I know y'all making more than that. 10% of everything that he done named and came up with, 4% should have been what his payout is every time they do it. Every time they do it. But I digress. Make Evolution yearly. And I love Big E now because I didn't even see the commentary. I seen clips of it and how he talked about him and Naomi being there and how he's so proud of the women and he teared up and it was such an emotional thing. First of all, I didn't even know that Big E has been a part of WWE since 2009. Okay? I knew about Kofi in 2011. Woods, I think, came from TNA. They put together New Day in 2014. I didn't know 5 years prior to that he was part of WWE, whether he was in FCW at the time or if they had him in the back doing security, whatever. I didn't know that. So for him to have no, because when they tell stories like how they met, and he was like, I remember on YouTube, Jimmy was like, a brother had told me, who was one of my good friends, like, hey, yo, they got some black girls here. And now I'm thinking, was that Big E that showed you to Trent and y'all ended up talking and becoming friends and getting married? Like, he was the one that pointed her out? Like, because I didn't know he was part of it that long. So it's something I learned new watching the commentary. Okay? But I'm so excited and elated that he's excited for them. His sister was in it. Might as well say sister because Michin, because he's marrying her little sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was like, I wonder if there's men in the back watching this. If they're there in the back supporting the women. Or if they just at home because it's not their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Woods, he's from Atlanta, but I think he went to Vegas to go see Backstreet Boys at the Sphere because he showed it on his Twitter. But I'm like, Cody's from Atlanta. Jay's lives in Atlanta. Braun is from Atlanta. Lash is from Atlanta. I think Trini, she said, I think at one point in time, her uncle Buck lives there because on Total Divas, she had mentioned she had wanted to live there because he stayed there. Like, a lot of them are live or are from Atlanta. And did they pull up and support, or they watched it from home? Like, either way, you ain't got to come into the arena because I know you probably want to get dressed. You probably want to be in your pajamas. You're tired of traveling. But did you tune in? That's what I want to know. Did you tune in? Because I would have tuned in. And the sad part is, the sad part, is that they said these tickets were the least expensive. And I might have said this earlier in my video. And I think they're doing that because they didn't think they were going to sell like that. That's what I personally think. Small part of me thinks they want other people to experience this. But I think they didn't think it was going to sell like this. But most people, like myself, the singles stuff is cool. You know what I'm saying? Singles feuds are cool. But if it's not a tag team or a faction, Like even an unlikely tag team, like how we had Rock and Sock. Today's unlikely tag team is like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. We're not friends. 2 years ago, it was Bianca and Charlotte, and they would have dominated had Charlotte not got injured. But you know what I'm saying? Like that. Like if they make Braun and Bronson the tag team, that's gonna be crazy. I would want to see them against War Machines, but I'm here for the tag teams and the girls. Tag team / factions and the girls. Not damage control, Lord. Judgment Day. I don't know what the hell Solo and them call themselves. Because I ain't been watching. Daggone. Is that it? B and Me Chin. And I love the fact that they're doing BFAP like they used to do Me Chin when she was a part of the OC. Remember when I said Me Chin was the only girl that at the time she would do stuff with the girls, singles matches and stuff. But they'll also, like, when they had faction stuff or stuff like that, they would have her out in the ringside. And I was like, she's the only one that does that. Because every other girl that does that, now they have, like, Maxine doing it. But, like, every other girl that used to do that, that was part of faction, like Zelina, like Electra Lopez. So they would just have them as, like, valets. So now they're doing BFAB like that. Because now she does singles matches. She meets up with Me Chin. You know what I'm saying? She got lines with her. And then she holds on. She's like the manager for Street Profits. I'm here for all of it. Be all of it, girl. Because we all of it. Women are everything. But, y'all, make this a yearly thing. It was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. From start to finish. It might have been a little slow moments. It's a little slower if you don't keep up with certain things. Like, if you don't watch NXT and stuff like that, you might be lost. If you only watch SmackDown, don't watch Raw, you might be lost. If you only watch Raw and don't watch SmackDown, if you only watch NXT and don't watch the other ones, you might be a little lost. But it was something for everybody. Something for everybody. My favorite part was the triple threat was surprisingly good to me. Better than what I expected. I didn't have no expectations. The only reason why I called NXT is not as great is because... Not because I don't know who them, because I already knew what Blake Monroe was going to do. That wasn't surprising me, and I guessed it. And I ain't watched wrestling in a month and a half. Okay, the Battle Royale was good. The tag team was one of my favorite matches, and Charlotte pulling Alexa out the way was one of my favorite moments of the night. And then the cash in the EO versus Rhea was my favorite match. One of my favorite matches of the night too. Also, I saw SmackDown this past Friday, and it was talking about Charlotte asked Alexa, could she be her cheerleader? And Alexa was like, do I look like a cheerleader? And she said, yeah, you do. She came out there with her pom-poms. I was like, not her going back to her old gimmick. Because I was watching her on the Bella's podcast. She was talking about how she was a dancer, a gymnast and cheerleader. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, then she came up with the pom-poms. I said, well, she going back to her old gimmick and her old career. So that's funny and cute. But those shirts are hilarious. We are friends. I need some. I need those shirts. Like, we only joining together in alliance for a brief moment. But we not going to be hanging out. We not going to be kicking. We not friends. But I can't wait to see what the future holds. And if I owned a wrestling company, it will be only for people it will be only for women, cis women, okay? No shade to anybody else, but cis women. And it will be factions and tag teams. Whether they're mixed tag teams, factions like Judgment Day mixed, or one gender like Damage Control. And if you felt like you wanted to go solo, then you're not a woman, you have to go to another promotion. But that would be my promotion, because that's what I like. You know, if you went solo, you would have to be a Paul Heyman type thing, or you would have to go somewhere else, unless you're a woman. But other than that, that's what I would do, because that's what I love to watch. Now, every once in a while, it's good to watch the solo matches, only if the storyline is great. If the storyline is great. But if not, I don't care. Don't care at all. Like, the wrestlers are cool, but those are my favorites. These are my personal favorites. Like, y'all know. And if surprisingly though, the funny thing is, last year or the year before last, I preferred Raw over SmackDown for the storyline. I think this year it's the same thing. And it's because it was heavy and girl tag teams, and the stories, because the men and the women I think had equal tag teams. But it was the solo men and the tag team men on Raw that had caught me, because at the time it was, I liked it for Bronson Reed. Jade just got over there, but Bronson Reed, Ricochet, Ivar, Dragunov, then was the 4, and then the girls, and then like the tag teams. Everybody else was come and go. I didn't care, but like the tag teams, Awesome Truth, Creed Brothers, War Race, he got injured. New Day, even when Cody and Jay had teamed up for a little bit, like all of things. So yeah, but awesome job, Evolution. The people that produced that, and a lot of people said that Shawn Michaels did this. He coordinated the whole thing because he has a real strong thing with NXT, because I watched NXT the Tuesday afterwards, and the women main event in NXT, that was a good show too. But if he did that, I know he nurtures the people in NXT. Give that man a raise and let him do all 3 brands for the women. Just let him strictly do the women. And honestly, I don't even want to say that, because I don't really want to pull him away from NXT, because he's doing great stuff with the men too. But I mean, as far as women go, if he did the booking and the stories and stuff like that for the build up for Evolution, and if he did that, y'all need someone that has that type mindset or something like that to hire, or writers like that, because NXT, it hasn't missed in the last 3 years. Okay, SmackDown, if I had to do brands, like which brand was the best as far as storyline and stuff like that, NXT has been number 1 for the past 3 years I've been watching. Raw has been 2nd, and SmackDown has been 3rd. I don't know who coordinated Evolution, but keep doing y'all thing, man, because the women already shine. And them the matches I'll be looking forward to in the PLEs anyway. But y'all outdid yourselves, okay? With the setting up of the matches, with everything. I'm so proud. Anyways, let me get off here, because I could ramble on and on about Evolution. I'm just telling you, I love you all. I love y'all down. Okay? Don't come for me about what I said, because if you don't like it, you can watch something else. I'm not holding you hostage and make you watch this. And yeah, just stay positive. Because there's a lot of stuff going on out in the world that can turn your mind, train of thought, and it's easy to get caught up. So don't pay no attention. Be around people that tell you when you're right and wrong. Take criticism. Don't listen to nobody that you wouldn't talk to every day, because their opinions don't matter. But take positive criticism. Try to keep your mind sharp every day, and stay out of all the noise. Cancel all the noise out, because that's what causes negativity. Anyways, love you all. Bye.